In the last episode, my Outback journey continues, deeper into the desert. I rode alone across endless red sands. I arrived at the highlight of the trip, explored the legendary Mad Max Museum and the film set, and I chased the final light of the golden desert sunset, but at the cost of missing my riding buddy and the accommodation for the night. I had found the last spot at the local caravan park, camped in the cold desert wind, and trying to make through the night. The next morning, I woke up. The sun has not even risen yet. I was up early, not because I need to be on the road, but simply because it was freezing cold and I couldn't bear to stay in my tent any longer. The first thing I did was head back to the kitchen at the caravan park. I turned both aircon up to the maximum, trying to warm myself up. I took out my coffee brewer for the first time on this trip. I was really looking forward for hot coffee on a morning like this. It was really good. Although the weather apps said 9 degrees, it felt much colder. As the sun rose, the temperature climbed a little bit. I took another look at the hasty setup I had put together in the dark last night. I think the wind broke around midnight. Probably slept six hours. Not very long, but enough to get my energy up and ready for the trip. Gonna be a big day today. Hopefully I'm gonna meet with Nixon today and we can continue our journey together. Nixon had sent me some clips of where I'm supposed to stay. It looks pretty unique. More importantly, the underground hotel must be warm and cozy and free from any wind. Well, I guess I can't have it all. I have to live with the decision I made. I started to pack up. I left the caravan park, heading back to the town center. After riding over 1000 km on a dusty road, my chain was in desperate need of care. I pulled into the next petrol station to clean it. For this trip, I had bought a toothbrush and a chain lubrication with me. All I need was some diesel from the pump to use as a solvent. I learned this trick from Brett on his YouTube channel. It was very handy. It was a little bit hectic without a center stand. I had to push the bike forward and clean the chain in sections. Overall, not bad result for such minimum tools. I've got that sorted out. Let's find something to eat. Broken Hill looks much better in daylight. It was still a public holiday, so there wasn't much traffic. The streets were quiet but clean, glowing in the morning sunshine. I found a roadside cafe that was open and felt it would be a good place to have breakfast. Do you have breakfast?
Yeah.
Alright. I came back to the Broken Hill town center just to get something to eat. It's completely different feeling when I see the city in the bright daylight. The cafe must have been around for decades. All the photos in the windows showcased the heritage of this mining town. Back in 1905, Broken Hill's population reached 30,000. Make it the second largest settlement in New South Wales, right after Sydney. They looks lovely. I enjoyed a hearty brekkie with a flat white, a classic Aussie way to start the day on an Outback trip. With a full belly, I started planning my route for the day. The goal was to head east towards Sydney. I could either ride along the famous Darling River Run or take the tarmac and try to catch up with Nixon somewhere along the way. Then I had a thought. With the initial plan already out of the picture, and me set to ride along anyway, I figured why not keep going south, cross into South Australia, and ditch the original plan and just go wild. I made up my mind. I texted Nixon that I wouldn't be meeting up with him after all, and I will be heading toward Adelaide instead. I could imagine how surprised Nixon would be. There was one more place I had seen on the map that I decided to check it out before leaving Broken Hill. There is a monument at the top of the hill, and the view from the summit was spectacular. It was another windy day. I secured everything, pointed the bike west, and set off for Adelaide. As I traveled along, I passed some enormous mining structures. I wondered what that was used for. The vast emptiness returned. With no shelter from the wind, I had to lean into the strong westerly gust just to stay upright. Mountain goat leaped from the bushes or stood at the roadside, watching me pass. It wasn't long before I reached the South Australian border.
Welcome to South Australia.
I hadn't planned to come here. I had done no research, made no bookings, and had no idea how far it was or what the road condition would be. From this point onward, I was literally embarking on an adventure into the unknown. My GPS offline map only covered New South Wales and Victoria. I turned it off. I would rely solely on road sign to guide me. For some reason, my fuel economy had dropped significantly since the morning, but I didn't know this would be becoming a serious issue that almost left me stranded later in the day. Just park out alongside the road next to this tree, which providing a little bit of shelter. It was very windy on the highway. It was pretty tough riding on this condition. After entering South Australia, the road ran alongside a railway line, which connects Broken Hill mine site to the port of Adelaide. The railway ran parallel to the highway, and I crossed over a few times. I did hope to see a train, but it never came. The weather changed quickly. I began to climb higher and pass through mountain range. The temperature dropped significantly, and ride became more challenging. The 450MT was struggling to maintain speed. Despite being at full throttle, I could barely make it over 110k. I couldn't figure out why. It could always be worse though. Like the guy in front, he was riding a Himalayan 450 and was wearing bright colored rain jacket tucked behind a tiny windscreen. Time to show him the power of twin cylinders, or whatever power I have left, because I was riding at the full throttle.
Hello? How are you, mate? You got any fruit?
No.
No veggies or anything?
No.
Have a good day.
Thank you. There were still some interesting things to say while riding on tarmac. I saw a dust cloud rising from the hill. Then I spotted wind turbines turning high above the ridgeline. I stopped at a town called Mount Brian. I need to put on more layers and get the blood flowing. Looking at the map, I saw that I wasn't far from the coast. I got back in the saddle. It seemed like I'd attract some attention.
Hello.
The sky ahead looks ominous. The temperature keeps dropping. I felt like I was about to ride into a downpour. To the left, it was definitely raining. Ahead, a patch of the blue sky. Maybe I'd be lucky and miss the storm. I still had about a third of the tank left, so I passed this fuel stop. 40 kilometers later, when I felt ready to stop for fuel, I found this station was under construction. Now I was slightly worried. But as I was approaching Adelaide, I thought the petrol station would start appearing regularly. I was wrong. I took a turn onto the main highway, heading toward the city center. For a moment, the setting sun and the cloud put on a show. Golden light raining down from the sky. It was stunning. Then the bike brought me back to reality. The fuel range plummeted. It dropped from 40 km to 0 almost instantly. A few kilometers later, the bike started cutting fuel. I was losing power. Desperately, I searched for an exit. This would be a terrible place to run out of fuel. I stopped before a ramp. With barely any fuel left, every turn counts.
5k. Okay. You can make it. Please. You have to. You have to make it. Come on, Mike. Come on. Let's do this.
I tried an old trick, shaking the tank for more range. The bike still cut out randomly. I rode slowly, trying to conserve what little fuel was left. Only 5 kilometers away. I had to make it, even if I have to push the bike.
Made it! Oh my god.
I rolled into the station.
Bone dry. I got nothing left. Ah, what a experience. 17 liter. Well, I run to the limit. So that's what I said before. This fuel gauge is just wildly inaccurate.
Got the bike filled up, back on the road. I merged back onto the motorway, getting closer to Adelaide. The 450MT's fuel gauge is overly optimistic. The bottom 30 km of the range does not exist. When the 450MT says you have 40 km left, that's the bottom of your fuel tank, so plan accordingly. I've arrived at Adelaide. Judging by the road condition, I just missed the dumper. I found a multi-story car park in the city center, conveniently located next to the hotel where I'm staying for today. Yep, no camping tonight. After sleeping rough in the desert the previous night, I decided to treat myself a soft bed and a warm meal. The food, it was quite good. I ordered too much. Since it was my first time in Adelaide, I took some time to explore the city. Despite being Easter Monday, the street was busy and full of life. The next morning, I enjoyed a nice breakfast before packing up and getting ready to hit the road again.
I've parked my bike in this car park building last night. Hopefully the bike's still there, or my stuff is still there.
I only brought my camera gear and other essentials into the room, but I left my camping equipment strapped to the bike. It was too much effort to untie it and carry everything up. Yes, it was a bit risky leaving it all in the car park overnight.
Okay, looks like no one touched it.
Thankfully, everything was still there, untouched. All looks good. I gear up and head out. The goal of today is to ride to the town of Hay, where I have a motel booked for the night. Along the way, I will check out the famous Pink Lake. If all goes planned, I should arrive at my motel right around dinner time. It felt fitting to visit Adelaide Beach before setting off. I rode west, and 20 minutes later, I was on the coast. Unlike Sydney's wild and rocky coastline, Adelaide Beach is smooth and straight, stretching for miles. I stopped at the side of the road to soak up the sunshine and enjoy the ocean breeze. This is it. I had made it. From city to desert and now to ocean, all in one trip. But this was only half of the journey. Time to hit the road again. I had a long way to go back home. Leaving the city wasn't easy. Traffic had picked up, as today was the first work day after the holiday. Filtering through cars with crush bar bags was particularly tricky. To head west, first I need to get over Mount Lofty. It was a steep but scenic climb. As I gained elevation, the landscape changed. I arrived in Adelaide Hill. I have to stop and put up my puffer jacket. Apparently we're at Adelaide Hills region. on the way to here, I saw a sign says a wine region. I might just take a side road and check out on the scenery. I rode through beautiful town alongside the old Prince Highway, surrounded by vineyards and farmland. The Adelaide Hill wine region is one of Australia's most picturesque and highest wine districts. Best of all, there were some fantastic curvy corners through the rolling hills. Despite the cold, I found riding through it a joy. Then I saw an open dirt road and decided to explore it. Unsurprisingly, it led to a locked gate. Nevertheless, I enjoyed the short detour and the surrounding scenery. I turned back into the highway. Now I had some serious mileage to cover for the second half of the day. I rode past the mighty Murray River, which is the longest river system in Australia. I was still riding without a GPS, just following the road sign. Then I missed a turn. Well, instead of turning left, I continued heading south, straight toward Melbourne. I was now 60 km off of my intended road. I couldn't justify backtracking, so I decided to cut through a farmland without navigation. I was not happy with myself. It was a stupid mistake. I should have paid more attention. Now I had lost nearly an hour, and I was at risk of getting lost on this track without any GPS support. I was riding faster to make up a lost time, but now looking back, it was a dangerous mindset to have while riding, especially on these kind of roads. Luckily, I made it back onto the tarmac without any drama, back on track. Then stuck at roadworks. Further delay. I made it through. Then there was a road train blocked my way. There was so much traffic, nothing seems to be going my way. Finally, I reached a turning for Pink Lake, which is located on the south edge of Murray Sunset National Park. It was already late. The sun was setting. However, I decided to go in anyway, not knowing what I would find. As I rode along the dirt track and took in the ever-changing scenery, my anxiety and frustration began to fade. It really calmed me down. Why should I worry about getting to the next place on time? Why not just focus on the present moment? I made it. The Pink Lake. I was supposed to be here 2.5 hours ago until I took a wrong turn and headed to the Melbourne. The good news is the sun is setting now. The lighting condition is much better. I'm gonna send the drone up to see what it looks like. There are several lakes in this area. According to the sign, the pink color of the water and the salt is caused by bacteria. The color wasn't as vivid as I expected. It was more of a pale red than a hot pink. However, when the view at the right angle under the setting sun, the lake looked stunning. I reset my navigation. 350k to Hay. This should be achievable. Nixon had texted me earlier to say he was already arrived home in Sydney. Meanwhile, I still have 1000k to go. One thing I really love about riding in the Outback is the sunset, especially when the sun is behind you. A golden line stretches across the landscape, and the sky on the horizon glows in hues of pink and orange color.
I can never get tired of riding in this light. I stopped to take some photos and enjoy the last of the daylight. This little town has nothing. It's completely deserted. It was a rare and beautiful sight. Another reason I stopped is to wait for a car to pass. As night falls, animals start to appear. It's always safer to follow a four-wheel drive than ride alone in the dusk. I made it to the petrol station in Oyen. 280k to go to reach Hay. Although I had booked a motel room, the road ahead would be cold, dark, and I would be riding through kangaroo country. The smart thing would to be find a room here and leave early the next morning. So what to do?
It's 8 p.m. now, and I've been riding in the dark for 2 hours. I'm still 200k away from my accommodation for the night.
I chosen poorly, obviously, but at that moment I actually felt good, energized by the sunset scene and the energy drink from the petrol station. 3 hours of riding on Seal Road didn't seem like much.
I've been trying to find someone going to my way so I can follow them, but all I can see is the upcoming traffic, but no one actually ahead or behind me. Look at that, there's a truck. The first truck I've seen for 2 hours that's going to the same direction. I will follow him. Hold on.
That would be my lifeline. I called up. The rest of the journey was a bit easier. However, at one point, the truck pulled into a petrol station. I pulled over and waited for the next one. My surrounding was pitch black. Out here, when you see a truck highline in distance, it can take 5 minutes for the truck to arrive. That's how vast of these lands are. I caught up with another road train. Then suddenly, the road turned into gravel. Eventually, I arrived in Hay. I pulled into the motel. The receptionist had left the key in the letterbox. I couldn't find it. You work for the hotel?
Yeah, the key is in the letterbox.
Well, my brain must stop working. Thank you. Okay, the door could use some grease, so could my lower back. I collapsed onto the bed and passed out. The next morning, I woke up early to another beautiful sunrise.
Good morning. That was 12 hours of riding yesterday. I was riding 4 hours in the dark. It wasn't so bad to beginning with. I actually enjoyed it for the first 2, maybe 3 hours. Luckily, there isn't any kangaroo or wild animal on the road, and by following the truck makes things a bit easier.
The bike had taken a lot of wear and tear on the road, but it held up like a champ. It was covered in dust and bugs, but it never missed a beat. Time to pack up. I crossed the bridge that I had entered the night before. I filled up, then hit the road. I rode past vast farmland. It was probably the same landscape I had passed through the dark the previous night.
It's quite nice to riding in the morning. The bike is fine. I'm a little bit worried about this tire. I'm chewing up the tire very quickly, especially the rear tire. Anyway, it will hold. We'll get back to Sydney.
By lunchtime, I arrived in Wagga Wagga. It seemed like a very busy city. The main street was too crowded to find a parking space, so I settled for something quick. After lunch, I continued head east. Hours of farmlands passed. Eventually, I was back on M1. As I cruised along the highway, I had plenty of time to reflect on everything that had happened. The lucky explorer became the theme of this journey. We started with a solid plan, but that plan fell apart on day one. After a few crashes and unexpected delay, the plan slowly slipped away from us. We ended up separated. We didn't make to Mungo National Park. I found myself in Adelaide and I missed a day of work. And yet, we were so lucky. No one got a serious injury. The bike had issues, but nothing major. Most importantly, we experienced the real adventure in the Australian Outback with its desert, sunset, and dirt roads. And we still managed to ride both bikes home at our own steam. I learned a lot for myself too, about the bike, my riding skill, and my limitation. So, did the CFMOTO 450MT live up to the Outback challenge? I think this 6-day, 4,000k ride through the Outback speaks for itself. Would I take it for my next adventure? Absolutely. But there are a few things I'll do differently next time. First, I won't pre-book accommodation, so I have the freedom to stop wherever the day ends. Secondly, I'll keep each day's riding distance a little shorter. In that way, my riding buddies is more likely to keep up rather than fall off from the exhaustion. I arrived in Goulburn, the place where me and Nixon began this adventure 6 days ago.
I've made back to Goulburn, where we have 2 bikes started, and I ended up here alone. All of our plans, we did not follow any of them. But still, it has been an awesome trip and a great 2-wheel adventure. I can't wait to start my next trip, maybe after 1 or 2 months break. But before that, I still have plenty of things to do with this bike. So if you like my trip, like those videos, please don't forget to click like and subscribe. There will be plenty of more videos coming up. The weather doesn't look very promising. Hopefully I won't encounter any of the rain on my way back.
And of course, it rained for the rest of the journey back to Sydney.